So how many of you have interest in selling more homes? Like whatever you've done this year, you want to sell more homes? Anybody here want to change your price point? Okay, so our next expert that's going to be up here is going to show you some ways to go about doing that. She is a luxury real estate agent. She is a co-founder of Elevé Properties. And when you see her, you've already met her. You just don't know her yet, okay? So the next expert we bring up, she's going to tell you ways in which you can either sell more homes, elevate your price point. And it's one of the things that when, some of the speakers, some of the experts we've had up here, they're talking to you about certain things. And we had the panel up here, right? I mean, Lee, I think you said what is it, the work's in the work? Well, work works, okay? So you have to look, smell, and act like a real estate agent, or people aren't going to call you, okay? So if you want to change your price point, sell more houses, then you need to listen to Daniella Stonefield. So if you don't mind, get on your feet and welcome Daniella Stonefield. Yep.
Have the mic. I am excited to be back with you all. Thank you so much for such an incredible day, for such incredible energy, and I am going to do my very level best to fulfill the promise that Kevin just made to you on my behalf. But no, truly, I really am. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do it in a little bit of an indirect way and a more foundational, structural way. Because what I want to talk to you about today is rethinking the concept of value. We're not talking about zeros, we're not talking about dollars and cents, and we're not talking about one-liners that get you more business. Those things all sound great, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with them, but we are going deeper into the concept itself. Because I don't know about you, but in this last year, I have heard so much, arguably too much, about demonstrating and communicating our value in this business, right? I mean, ever since the NAR settlement, it has become the veritable battle cry of every coach, every voice in the real estate business. You have to demonstrate your value. You have to communicate your value, right? We've all heard it. And yet, what exactly does it mean? I mean, it sounds obvious enough, right? Well, yeah, communicate your value. What have we been doing this whole time? But yet, what does it mean? Communicate your value. Each of those is a statement. So then the question, what does it mean? And, more importantly, how do we do it? We've all seen the more common attempts at responding to this. Well, I've been in the business for 25 years. I provide exceptional service, whatever that means. I've sold X million in volume. Whoa, sorry, losing it. But here's the thing. You know what I hear in all of that? I. It's a laundry list of your accomplishments on paper. Top producer, we've all heard that one, ooh, right? That's what we've been taught is sexy. That's what we've been taught is compelling. That's what we've been taught matters. But how much does it really mean to the people that you are trying to actively engage? How much does it mean? Does it mean anything at all to them? Now, here's the thing, and understand this. It is not my intention in any way to take anything away from these achievements. These are amazing, but they are the result. My hope today is that we reframe the way that we've been thinking about this concept of value and adding context so that we can define and communicate our value proposition as individuals, focusing instead on what I think are two critical pieces of information that after today, I hope, help to really help you communicate with your audience at a deeper level from here on out. Here's the first. Function is the cost of entry. Okay, I'm going to pull a Brent Gove, write that down. Function is the cost of entry. Here's the thing. We've all heard the 80-20 rule. But in real estate, the 80% or so of people who just run around with a license and don't really do anything with it, they are not your competition. The licensee proper is not your competition. Your competition is that 20% that actually knows how to do the job, right? That's your competition. And what does that mean for you? Well, it means that your ability to do your job is not the differentiator that you might think that it is. In reality, that gets you to the table. And everyone here today is already at the table, or you wouldn't be here. So if all you can muster is the fact that you're really good at what you do, or good at what you do, as important as that is, and it is important, I have news for you. There are, what, 500 people in this room? And if that's all you've got, then all you've done is answer the question why they would hire one of you. What it doesn't answer, however, is which one and why. Because, newsflash, being competent does not make you special. However, this principle also applies in your own markets. So that brings me to the second focal point of the day. We need to stop equating communicating our value with communicating what we value. That potential client, they are more than likely not scrolling your Instagram, basking in your radiant brilliance and thinking, wow, God, I admire her list of professional achievements. I think I'm going to call her. We are in real estate, okay? We've all learned the difference between features and benefits. Yes, we've all heard the difference? Okay, so what do they say? Features tell, benefits sell, right? Your resume, those are your features. It's not that they don't matter. It's just that on their own, they're not enough. And if you don't translate those into benefits, or you are assuming that your audience will, you are missing an enormous opportunity for both community building and communication and growth. Because the fact is that at the end of the day, your audience actually only wants to know one thing. And not just your audience, but more specifically your potential clients. That's this. What is in it for me? Okay? Because when someone hires you, it's not because of what you think you are. It's because of what you are to them. How many of us have read this book or heard of it? Yes? Start with Why. Simon Sinek, Swept the Nation. Wonderful book. In this book, Start with Why, Simon's central thesis is this: people don't buy what you do. They buy why you do it. It's powerful. It's helped a lot of us connect our work with our purpose. And in my opinion, in our businesses, we should indeed start with why. But for what we do, you and I, this never quite felt complete to me. If you've read the book, then you know that his examples of this in the real world are Apple and Harley-Davidson, and both of these companies, they make excellent case studies, right? Because they have been wildly successful at creating dedicated followings. In the case of Apple, people buy their product because it says that you're cool, right? Youthful, creative, a disruptor. Look at all of their marketing. They know their market. That's who they're talking to every time. For Harley devotees, well, it tells the world that you are someone who heeds the call of the open road. More than likely, you also fancy yourself a bit of a badass. But here's what stuck out to me. Room full of badasses here, no question about it. But here is what stuck out to me as I tried to apply this Start with Why principle to our real estate practice. Both of these companies have solid whys that they're able to tap into. Here's the thing though, they're whys you can wear. They're tangible, visible evidence of the way that you see yourself in the world and the way that you want the world to see you. It's a matter of identity. And the most brilliant product marketing taps directly into this. But services have a much harder time playing in this sandbox, as I found. Think about it. You take your iPhone out and you use it, right? That's visible. You ride your Harley, or at the very least, you wear a leather vest with a big logo on the back. It's a club as much as it is a brand. But when you hire a service provider, a realtor, for example, you don't wear them. Insert Buffalo Bill joke here, I guess, couldn't help myself. They don't follow you around and become part of your identity. Thanks, honey, my husband's laughing. In fact, Most agent-branded items, you know, think merch, swag, the things that we tend to give out or have at open houses, they're almost entirely avoided. Tough break, right? They get shoved to the back of the drawer or way in the back behind the wine glasses because they are not part of your client's identity. So here's what we're learning here. It seems that the world of products has a much easier time of this. So where else can we look? Well, my friend Bruce Turkel has a similar thesis with a twist. Bruce, by the way, is a Hall of Fame speaker and a marketing genius. He, like Sinek, is a master communicator, and this is what he says. People don't buy what you do. They buy who you are. So let's think about this. How many of us have watched as someone that we know hires the guy that they play pickleball with who just got his real estate license, right? Or the woman that they see every week in book club who literally hasn't done a deal since '92. This is, after all, a people business. Real estate is a contact sport. But then that's the question of, is it a matter of relating then? I mean, is it a question of similarity? Something like who you are is something akin to who they are? Which is it? Why or who? Here's my take. It's both. They're complementary. It's both, and yet it's more than that. Neither of them tells the full story unless you understand why they matter. After all, this entire conversation that we've been having so far, everything we've said, comes back around to one question, and that is this. Why do your clients hire you? And how do you communicate that so that they know that you have what they want? So that means that there are 3 primary pieces to the value puzzle, if you've been listening. Number 1, figure out what your audience wants. Number 2, figure out how to give it to them. Number 3, figure out how to effectively communicate your ability to do that. And if you can find a way to do those 3 things better, more efficiently, and more beautifully, you have effectively struck oil. See, people don't buy who you are, or even why you do what you do, in a vacuum. They're not doing you a favor. They buy what it means for them. The truth is, this is only about you at all, insofar as you are the mirror that reflects their identity and their goals back to them as the means for helping them get there. That's where the magic happens. And that is where the real value is, and that's the value you're communicating. Imagine that I asked each of you to pull a pen out of your pocket or bag. And imagine further, I just so happen to be in the market for a pen. How would you sell it to me? Well, you might point out, in this case, the beautiful chrome plating. See how nicely it stands against the darker chrome plating? Or maybe how the smooth black ink glides across the paper. You might make a big to-do about how it's the finest pen on the market, no greater pen has ever existed. But what you don't know is that when I was a little girl, my grandfather was a pilot and always had one of those cheap blue Bic rollerball ballpoint pens in his pocket. In his memory, it is the only kind of pen that I carry to this day, and I just used up my last one. Translation? Your carbon plating and black ink mean absolutely nothing to me. Now pause and think about that. What's your blue Bic? We all have one, at least one. Some irrational preference or hidden story that drives our decisions even when it makes no sense to anyone else until they have a reason to divulge it. Maybe it's the make of your first car. Maybe it's the grocery store brand that your mother used to buy. Maybe it's the football team that you just continue to root for even though they continue to not win. It doesn't matter how many features or even benefits someone piles on if they're speaking the wrong language to the wrong motivation. This is the heart of the whole thing. Messaging that compels your audience hinges entirely on their motivations. While you're thinking about your why, what you have to understand is that they're thinking about theirs. And it's their why that drives the decisions that they make. It is all about them. They're not buying you. They're buying what they get when they choose you. So when we say communicate your value, what really that should mean to you, that what you should hear is communicate what they will experience, feel, and achieve because of what you bring to the table. You are the conduit through which they actualize their vision and their values. That's what people connect with, and that is what they will buy. Not your metrics, not your awards, not even your process. Sure, they may use those things to justify their decision, but those things are not why they make it in the first place. They buy how you'll make their life better, clearer, easier, more elevated. In making a hiring decision, your client's thoughts might look something like, I feel smarter because I'm working with somebody who is so dialed into the market. Or, I feel safe and protected because she sees things that I don't. She's an expert. Or, I feel elevated because he has access to a world that in this next phase of my life, I want to step into. Imagine a canyon, this beautiful, very artistic rendering of a canyon, with two sides vastly separated by empty space. On one side, you, with everything, you, there you are, with everything you think is important. Your process, your awards, your experience. On the other, way over here, your client, with everything they actually need and want. What most of us do is stand on our side, waving our arms, shouting across, hey, here's what I do, here's why it matters, come over here. That's what we do. But think about how exhausting that is, right? I mean, the energy. Just constantly shouting, constantly trying to pull someone across the void, trying to beat them over the head with why your message is important to them. Not to mention how exhausting it is to be constantly yelled at. I mean, can we all relate to this feeling in today's world where we are just getting pelted with messaging and marketing constantly, every second? Instead, imagine building a bridge. Imagine walking across to meet them where they are. So much calmer. Can you feel it? I feel better. Suddenly you're standing side by side, looking out in the same direction. That is what real value communication feels like. Not shouting across the void, not desperately attempting to be heard in a sea of voices, but creating a path that brings you onto common ground and into partnership. And here's the kicker. Everything that you want from your business, it's also over there with them on their side. So, the offer audit framework. Here is what we want to do. We want to understand the offer that we are presenting to the world. Last year we did a brand audit. Does your brand tell the world what you want it to? Does it say what you want it to say about you and about your business? In this case, the question is, does your offer tell the world what you want it to? And is it getting you the results that you want? So number one, inventory. Look at your current offer exactly as you present it. Your listing presentation, your buyer process, your website copy, your mailers, everything. Strip it down to its bare bones and read what it says. Not what you want it to say, but what it truly says. By the way, you don't have to write all of this down. Get in touch with me at the end and I will give you this. I have a whole framework ready for you. Number two, test it. Go back to your last 3 to 5 clients and ask them 3 questions. Don't guide them, don't prompt them, just listen. Those questions are, why did you hire me? What was the most valuable thing about working with me? And what would you tell a friend or someone you care about who is thinking about working with me? And you need the truth. Now you align. Lay those 2 things side by side, what you think you're selling and what your clients believed they were buying. Finally, enhance. You're going to refine it. Take the outcomes that your clients say that they valued most and make those front and center in your messaging. If they love that you made the process stress-free, stop burying that under market stats. If they felt protected, emphasize that and what makes that possible in your process, in your presentation. And if you find that your current process does not consistently deliver on those outcomes that your clients want the most from you, that is your cue to strengthen your offer. One of the most powerful things you can ever do in your business is to simplify, period, real estate or otherwise. We have found ourselves in such a strange place in this industry in particular where we see constant hustle as some sort of mark of success. I could not possibly disagree more, and I'm not the only one in this room. We've heard a lot of those voices today. Identify what's working and double down. Identify what's not and let it go. If you go through every piece of your process and do this systematically, you can completely transform your business into something that truly resonates with both you and your client. The key here is not about inventing something shiny and new. Not at all. It's about aligning what you say with what your clients actually experience and care about. That's where value lives. That's what you need to be communicating. If you want a guiding principle as you go through this process, and we're wrapping up here, Alex Hormozy relays a lesson, and he's popped up here a few times, so he must be doing something right. Relays a lesson that I really, really love, and that is essentially this. Make your offer so ridiculously good that people would feel stupid saying no to it, okay? It sounds so simple, but think about how it's worded. They would feel stupid saying no. If you can reverse engineer that in your business, it is pure jet fuel. So if you read your messaging today and you find that it falls short of that, that's a great piece of information because you can fix that, okay? And when you do, your business will have the opportunity to truly get to the next level, and your ability to effectively communicate will be completely transformed. There is so much noise in this business. If you want to stand out, and we all do, the answer is not to shout louder about your value, at least not until you know what it is. More than that, though, it's to carefully listen for theirs. And then, with the ease and confidence of a true professional, speak directly into that. Deliver on what you say you will do every single time, and watch as clients start coming to you who are aligned with you, and then they remain clients for life. So to wrap up, let's return to where we began. Remember the laundry list? I. What if you flipped it? What if every piece of your marketing, every conversation, every presentation became you, anticipating needs, resolving pain points before they ever even surface, reimagining the parts of your process that your clients dread the most, and then just getting through it completely so that they can move with ease and confidence. At the end of the day, it is not about dazzling them with metrics and accolades and market stats. It's about creating something that delivers results and an experience and showing them what their life can look like when they choose that thing, when they choose you. That is your real value. Now you just need the words. If you want the PDF for the offer audit framework, just get in touch. Thank you very much.